To many people, Florida means oranges. They're a key element of the state's economy. But this year, Florida projects the worst citrus harvest since the Great Depression. William Brangham examines what's driving this decline and how it threatens a way of life for many Floridians.
In central Florida, orange groves stretch as far as the eye can see. What's not so visible is the disease that is slowly killing one of this state's biggest industries.
So if I didn't know better, I would look at this and think like, oh, this looks like you got a lot of fruit. The tree looks pretty decent to me.
It looks like a lot of fruit because you don't know how much fruit should be on the tree. Right. And so it's not these trees are suffering. They're not generating an economic crop.
Frank Hunt is a third-generation citrus grower. His grandfather, Dealey, started the Hunt Brothers family business in Lake Wales, Florida, a century ago.
Because all that fruit that's dropped, that's waste.
Yeah, that's waste. You can't do anything with it. And probably 50–60% of the crop that was set ultimately drops on the ground before it's harvested.
An insect-borne bacteria has infected virtually every orange tree in his groves.
You know, some trees take a little longer than others to die, but we're basically fighting a losing battle trying to sustain the tree. The plastic bins would be set on the conveyor.
For the Hunt Brothers business, it's had a devastating impact.
So this would have been loaded with oranges,
full conveyor.
Climbing up the road.
Full conveyor.
Millions of oranges were once processed, sorted, and shipped from this packing house.
So if I had been here at its peak, what would this have sounded like or looked like?
We wouldn't have been talking right here because the machinery is such that you'd have that rumble of the machinery and the conveyors running. In fact, where we're standing actually was the packing area.
But last year, the conveyor belts were turned off, doors shuttered, and 50 workers lost their jobs.
You get a couple of cobwebs here. I mean, this has got to feel like a...
Well, this is the first time I've walked back here in a while, so we start crying, y'all forgive me.
And this year, Florida projects its orange harvest will be the lowest since the 1930s.
I look back to when I first started working in citrus in 2004. Florida produced over 220 million boxes of oranges.
Michael Rogers is the director of the University of Florida's Citrus Research and Education Center.
Fast forward 20 years, and we can't produce enough oranges. We're down to a 16 million box crop, from 220 million down to 16 million.
While several factors are to blame for this crisis, Hurricanes Ian and Nicole damaged a lot of trees when they tore through Florida last year. Rogers says the main issue is this blight, which is known as citrus greening disease. It's spread by tiny insects known as psyllids. While nearly impossible to see with the naked eye, their impact has been catastrophic.
Pretty much all the trees in commercial groves now in Florida are infected with this disease.
All of them?
Yes, the ones that aren't were planted yesterday is what I tell people.
Wow.
Because it doesn't take long for them to become infected.
The disease slowly kills the roots, which starves the tree of nutrients, and it often changes the color and ruins the taste of the fruit. That is, if the fruit doesn't fall from the limb first, far too early to be harvested.
Before you see any symptoms of this disease in the plant, we'll lose 30 or 40% of the root system. The leaves start to get these mottled appearances. They don't look nice dark green. They look weak and stunted.
A day without orange juice is like a day without sunshine.
Since the vast majority of Florida's oranges are squeezed into juice, this disease has also squeezed wallets. Orange juice is just the latest staple to slam inflation-weary consumers. Whether it's fresh squeezed or concentrated, retail prices have hit record highs for both.
It's blueberry puree.
Citrus greening has also hit smaller growers especially hard.
Most all of your mom and pop, I would say, farmers that had 10, 20, 40, 80 acres, they're very few and far between.
Archie Rich runs this general store in Haines City, Florida, selling his fruit and his freshly squeezed juice directly to customers. On top of citrus greening, last year's hurricanes left him with his worst orange harvest since he started here in 1992.
5 years from now, 10 years from now, are you still growing citrus in Florida?
It's hard for me to imagine Florida without having citrus. I don't think it'll ever get back to where it was.
This threat, we've never dealt with anything this severe, at this capacity, where it has just brought our industry basically to its knees.
Brenda Eubanks Burnett runs the Florida Citrus Hall of Fame. She's been involved in the industry since 1981, when she was named Florida's citrus queen.
Once a queen, always a queen, I guess.
I don't think I've ever interviewed a queen before.
Eubanks Burnett says citrus has always been a part of the state's DNA, and she remains optimistic about the future.
We're seeing people investing back into the industry. So hopefully it's not something that's going to be completely going away. But there were some times when we did not think that we were going to have an industry here in Florida.
Back at the University of Florida's Citrus Research Facility, several solutions are being tested. One is growing trees under these gigantic protective canopies. They're covered with a mesh that's fine enough to block the insects, but still allow rain and sunshine in. Another is developing new blight-resistant varieties of citrus trees.
There's a lot of things that we can do that are short-term fixes to try to keep these trees healthy, but ultimately the solution is going to come in the form of a new variety, a new citrus plant variety that's resistant to disease, whether it be through conventional breeding or genetic modification.
But today, there is still no cure, and many of these solutions aren't affordable for growers like Frank Hunt. But he's not giving up. Hunt says he's passing his 4,000 acres on to his son.
The question would be is there anything for the generation after that? And I don't know, and I don't know what that'll look like.
It's a question many here in Florida are now asking. For PBS News Weekend, I'm William Brangham in Lake Wales, Florida.